Welcome to the Leadership in Action podcast. I'm your host, Amrita Naraine, Chief Projects Officer of Action Invest Caribbean Inc. And I'm joined with Divya Doerga, Projects Director at Action Invest Caribbean Inc. and Operations Director at NSB Omega Guyana Inc., where she's been instrumental in organizing and executing high-impact projects. Welcome, Divya.
Thank you, Amrita.
In this conversation, we're going to be diving into the qualities that define her, the moments that have shaped her journey, and her vision for making a lasting impact in Guyana. So Divya, tell me, what's one word that best describes your personality, and how does that show up in your work at Action Invest?
I think one word that describes my personality is intentional, because both personally and in work, I feel like I like to do everything with intention, and that is a good intention, of course, making sure that you get a positive result. I just don't like to just do things. So whether that's in my personal life or at work, I want to make sure that everything I do comes out with a good result for both the company and myself.
I can attest to that. And tell me about a moment that Action Invest has made you feel proud of. And it can be something as well that has to do with part of the team. What's that moment?
I feel like that moment is every day, all the time. I am proud just to be working every day here. I mean, I get to work on the Who's Who and IBC projects on a daily basis, and that makes me excited, it makes me happy, and I don't think I've ever had a day where I didn't feel proud or I didn't feel happy. So I can't pinpoint one specific moment. I would say that's every day for me.
Right, I can agree that it would be very personally fulfilling as well.
Yes, it is.
Great. And if your job were a superhero role, what would your superpower be?
Probably efficiency and organization. I lean to organization because for all the projects that I do, everything is so organized. And yeah, I have sheets for everything, and everything has to be a certain way, and I have to have all the details together. So I definitely say organization.
Nice. And I understand that every superhero has their kryptonite too. What do you think that is?
The opposite to organization. I can't handle when things are everywhere. So if that's my kryptonite, I usually make sure that I turn that into my superpower.
I understand. Transition from the challenge into an opportunity. And what originally attracted you to Action Invest, particularly in its mission and vision?
So our vision is Guyana's abundance through business re-education. So I love education, I love learning, and I believe that learning never stops. I think most people think that after high school, after university, that they're done. I believe that there's no such thing as being done, and there's so much to learn about everything. And a lot of people don't understand how much there is to learn about business. A lot of people think that you just open a business and you start selling your product or service, and that's it. It's really not. I think one thing that was really an eye-opener for me is that when I started to work, I've studied business all my life. I actually never stepped out of studying business. When I started working in 2018, I realized that everything that I've learned, all the theories, I was seeing it in practice, and that's when I realized a lot of people miss this. They don't understand you learn this to see this happen. And I think that really aligns with the vision of the company, because obviously business re-education, and I think that there's also a lot to unlearn. There's a lot of things that business owners can unlearn and relearn, especially if you're accustomed to doing things the traditional way. Of course, the world is modernizing, so you have to be able to unlearn and relearn. And I think that our vision of letting people do that, we get to do that every day, and I really enjoy being a part of that.
What's one thing people would be surprised to learn about you outside of work?
So one thing that people would be surprised to learn about me is that I'm actually into creative writing. I do poetry. I used to do it a lot when I was out of school, and I really enjoy painting. So a lot of people wouldn't guess that I actually have that side to me. So surprise, I do. Yeah, really, really enjoy creative writing, poetry, and yeah, painting, those arts.
Excellent. And I know that you're already leading some projects that will make a great national impact across Guyana. If you had one particular thing to share about what it is like being a part of those projects, what would that be?
The impact of bringing businesses together, both locally, regionally, internationally. I think two of the projects that I can share are definitely the Who's Who and IBC. I personally find joy in building those connections for people and also interacting with all of them, getting to know their needs, what they're looking for in Guyana, how we can help them. So I think that being a part of those projects, it really helps you to mesh with the wider community, wider business community, and also gives you the opportunity to help them with what they're looking for in Guyana.
Great. And I understand that with those wins, there also comes some lessons. So, what's one of the biggest lessons you've learned in your career so far, and how has it shaped your goals?
So I think because I started working at a really young age, I definitely think one of my biggest challenges was learning how to deal with different personalities. So I think when you're really young and you start to work, you kind of have like this innocent, positive, or all positive view of the world that everyone is nice. Or if you think you're a nice person, you automatically think that everybody is like that and that they'll treat you the way that you'll treat them. I think one of the biggest challenges was learning that that's not a reality, and also how persons interact with you doesn't have anything to do with you. It's more so about them. So I think once I started learning, and I'm still learning, once I continued learning that it's not about me, it's how those people react, whether it's personal or business, because every day I deal with tons of different characters. I think that has really helped me to understand not just people more, but why they behave the way they do and how I can adapt to helping them still with what they need.
Excellent. And imagine it's 10 years from now. You've achieved your biggest dream. What does that look like?
It looks like today, but better. So I would definitely say, because of my projects and they're so specific, I would love to see the Who's Who having an even wider reach, helping even more people learn about Guyana and doing business here. I would love to see all of our projects just help more people, not just locally, regionally, internationally. I want a lot more people to see what we do and for them to benefit from what we do as well.
Divya, what's one book or quote that has deeply influenced how you see your life and work?
Right, so one quote that I really like is the best way to predict the future is to create it, and that's by Peter Drucker. And I think that that has influenced my life because I don't wait to see what happens. I make sure that I do what has to be done to make whatever I want to happen.
Impressive. And I know that you may have a mentor as well who helps you to see the way through. Tell me more about that person.
So I think throughout life, I've had multiple mentors because sometimes you also need mentors in different areas that you may need help in, or different mentors for different things that you might like to do. Most people know my dad is a business coach, and obviously all I've ever done is study business, and I really enjoy that too. So I would say throughout my life, of course, Dr. Doerga being not only my dad, but also my coach, has been the ideal mentor figure for me because he helps with all of my business questions, and also when that time comes, my personal questions as well. And the good thing is we're able to keep it professional when that time is there. So I would say that he is one of my most influential mentors.
Great. And finally, before we head into our speed round, if you had to swap jobs with someone else on the team for today, who'd it be and why?
I would definitely swap jobs with one of our business coaches, either Doc or Coach Keon, because I feel like I have worked almost all of the roles in the company except coaching. They're not able to share a lot of the details, or any of the details rather, of their coaching sessions because that's personal to them and the client. So I feel like us as team members, we don't get to experience that role particularly. I would swap with one of them to experience what it's like coaching somebody and what the expectations are, how the process works. So I definitely think that I would swap with that role.
Great. And now we're going to head into our speed round. So I'm going to ask you a couple of questions and you'll respond as fast as you can. One word. Great. So firstly, pet, their name and their breed.
Pooh Bear, Border Collie.
Favorite song?
Anything soca.
Type of car you'd like to have?
Probably a G-Class.
Ooh, good choice.
Red.
Beautiful. A hobby that you really enjoy?
Poetry.
And dream travel destination?
Bali.
Beautiful options. And that was an inspiring conversation with Divya Doerga, a professional who embodies purpose and progress in equal measure. Thanks for tuning into our Leadership in Action podcast. And if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to subscribe, share it with someone who'd be inspired, and stay connected as we continue to spotlight the voices building a better Guyana.